Our film begins with this accountant-looking man standing in the desert holding a large number of remote viewing glasses. After a while, a pathway appears before him, filled with wooden chairs. A car comes from the other side of the path, enters it, and starts knocking over and breaking all the chairs intentionally. Then it stops so the trunk of that car can be opened, and Officer Chad gets out. After taking a glass of water from his assistant, who was driving the car, he walks a few steps until he stands in front of the screen and says that in life, everything happens without a reason. Not every event you see or experience has to have a specific reason, And this is exactly what has been reflected in cinema. It too has become a place where everything happens without a reason, like watching a love story in a movie that's actually about a love story. Very stupid, I'm referring to the officer's own words, and to prove his point, he poured the entire glass of water on the ground and said he did that now without a reason. Now you know I'm right. Then he steps away from the screen and returns to the car again because suddenly the audience he was addressing appears, and it's clear it wasn't us, thank God. The people standing and listening to this officer were varied, young and old, girls and boys, children, all kinds of people. The accountant started distributing the remote viewing glasses to everyone standing there. Then he asked them to turn around and watch the desert, where the film will now be shown. Everyone started watching. Suddenly, rising from the desert sand, a tire emerges, left among some junk. The tire starts to fall while shaking a little, as if it's just learning to walk. Then, once standing steady, it starts spinning and moving from its place. Then it sees a scorpion crossing the desert, but it continues, walks over it, and kills it. The tire was happy it could do that, but suddenly, it encounters a glass bottle. It tries to crush it and break it, but it's difficult. The tire starts shaking violently, and suddenly the bottle shatters into a million pieces. The tire continues on its way afterward and stops at a water puddle, clearly drinking from it. But then, it spots a wild rabbit standing close by watching it. It focuses intensely on it and starts shaking again, and suddenly the rabbit explodes, its parts flying everywhere around it. The tire is very happy with what happened and continues on its way, delighted. But then, it suddenly falls to the ground and stays there as the sun sets, clearly going to sleep. The people were very shocked by what they saw, but they also slept. The next day, the accountant comes to wake them up to watch the film. Everyone starts waking up, clearly extremely hungry since they haven't eaten for a full day. But the film is about to start, and they forget their hunger because they want to see the rest of the tire's criminal events quickly. The tire wakes up too and continues on its way until it reaches the main road. It looks into the distance and sees a beautiful girl driving a convertible. It focuses on her so much that it tries to use its power on her, but it doesn't want to kill her. And indeed, the car the girl was driving suddenly breaks down. But before the tire can move and go to the girl in the car, another car comes from behind and hits it hard, sending it flying into the sky. It lands on the side of the road, and the car and the girl drive away. After a while, when the tire regains consciousness, it decides to take revenge. It keeps moving along the road until it reaches the first gas station where the crazy driver who hit it is, and decides to approach him. After the driver puts gas in his car, and before he leaves, he looks beside him and sees the tire standing there, clearly staring at him. Even he himself is scared by its stance. The tire starts shaking hard out of anger, and the man's head suddenly explodes and he dies. Here, the tire feels joy. After a while, it spots the girl whose car broke down heading toward a nearby hotel on the road. It follows her and watches her from behind the door. The audience is watching happily at what's happening, but suddenly night falls and everyone goes to sleep, including the beautiful girl. The tire enters the room from the hotel room to sleep too. Coincidentally, the accountant who distributed the viewers to the people also appears to be in the same hotel. The next morning, the accountant wakes up and sees a turkey in his room, so he decides to slaughter it, cook it, and take it to the audience, who hasn't eaten anything these 2 days. And indeed, when he goes to them and throws the turkey in front of them, everyone attacks it and starts eating as much as they can, satisfying all the hunger they felt. And indeed, everyone was eating except one person, an old paralyzed man, who refused to eat and decided to continue watching the film. When the accountant left his room, the cleaning lady of the hotel entered, did the cleaning, and heard the sound of the shower running in the bathroom. She entered, saw the tire under the shower bathing, and was surprised by the situation, of course. She took the tire and threw it outside. But the tire got up and entered the room to take revenge on this girl. But unfortunately, the son of the hotel owner, named Zach, saw the tire moving on its own and entering the room, so he ran to his father to inform him of what was happening. After that, the tire appears before us, sitting watching TV with the girl lying in front of it, headless. After a while, Tire leaves the room and goes to the swimming pool and sees the beautiful girl, the car owner, leaving just as the tire arrives. So the tire goes down into the swimming pool afterward, throws itself in, and completely drowns. At this time, all the audience standing and watching the film start feeling stomach pains, and the police arrive at the hotel to investigate the murder of the cleaning girl. The boy says the suspect is this tire, so of course everyone thinks the boy is crazy. But Zach goes down to the swimming pool and pulls out the tire that was drowning there. As soon as he pulls it out, the boy's father takes it and throws it away to prove to the boy that this tire doesn't move. But he doesn't know that throwing that tire will cost him dearly. The entire watching audience dies, except that old paralyzed man. He continues watching the film, but the officer's watch alarms, so he says that means the entire audience is dead. He starts explaining to the hotel owner and his fellow officers that they are all nothing more than actors in a film, and there's an audience watching it, but no one believes him. So he decides to return to a solution to reassure everyone. Officer Chad requests from his colleague at home that he shoot him with a bullet. At first, this colleague hesitates to execute the order, but with the officer's insistence, the colleague does it, and the officer doesn't die or anything. Suddenly, the accountant enters the officer's room and tells him there's still one person from the audience who hasn't died, and he must finish the film for him. The officer changes his tone with his colleagues and tells them he was just joking with them and nothing he said was accurate. He goes to continue the investigation with the hotel owner and they sit by the swimming pool. Suddenly, the tire starts moving again and goes to the hotel owner for throwing it away violently before and explodes his brain in front of the officer so that he believes immediately afterward that the words of the child, the hotel owner's son, may God have mercy on him, are true. He takes the tire and goes to his colleagues and tells them he's finally discovered the killer, and it's this tire, but it managed to kill one of their officers and escape immediately. At this time, the accountant takes a large tray of beautiful food and goes to the last surviving audience member and tries to convince him to eat, and of course, all the food is poisoned so that he dies like the rest of the audience. But the man, despite the severe hunger and thirst he feels, refuses to eat or drink anything until he finishes the film. Out of frustration, the accountant sits next to him on the ground and starts eating from the food intended for the sole viewer without realizing, and feels intense pain in his stomach and dies immediately. No one remains except this paralyzed old man. As days pass, this tire starts to love killing more and almost kills every human it encounters. So the officer decides to set a trap to actually kill it. He gets a mannequin from a clothing store and dresses it like a girl, placing it where the tire is, but he puts explosives on it so that when the tire approaches the mannequin, it explodes into small pieces. And indeed, the plan succeeds, and the tire approaches the mannequin. The officer has headphones attached to this wooden doll and makes a girl speak through a microphone from afar, trying to provoke the tire so that it explodes the doll's head, and thus the bombs on its back will explode. And indeed, the tire explodes the doll's head, but the bombs don't explode, and the tire returns to the house afterward. The officer decides to go himself to the house containing this criminal, takes his rifle, and decides to enter himself to finish off this strange killer. After a while, the officer comes out from inside, holding a piece of the tire's skin, and says, "It's over." everything is finished. He throws this skin in front of the paralyzed old man who was waiting in front of the house to know what would happen. The officer walks away afterward, but after a while, the old man hears the sound of wheels moving inside the house, and suddenly, he sees a child's toy wheel slowly coming out of that house. Clearly, the spirit that was inside the car tire has entered the child's toy wheel. The old man asks the wheel not to kill him because he hasn't done anything, but then he sees his wheelchair afterward, destroyed, broken, and thrown aside. Clearly, the wheel didn't listen to his pleas when the evil wheel decides to leave and gather an army of wheels that move on their own and kill, and decides to go and attack all humans. With this, we've reached the end of our film.